Welcome to the Brightpoint Infotech Podcast, where we explore the latest innovations, challenges, and best practices in enterprise technology. I'm your host, Premjit Singh, and today we are diving into a critical topic: ERP Security Best Practices, how to protect your data. So, ERP systems are the backbone of modern businesses, managing everything from finances and supply chain to customer data. But so much sensitive information at stake, ERP security is important than ever. To help us navigate this topic, I'm joined by Shannon Walsh, Sales Manager at Brightpoint Infotech. Shannon, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Prem. Always good to be here. ERP security is something that, of course, every business should be taken very seriously, and that's an understatement. A breach can be devastating, right? So not just in terms of financial loss, but also, reputation and compliance risk.
Absolutely, Shannon. And with cyber threats evolving daily, businesses can't afford to overlook ERP security. And Shannon, before we dive into best practices, can you give us an overview of why ERP security is so crucial?
Yeah, of course. I mean, ERP systems, right? Regardless of the vendor, they store, very highly sensitive data. You got things like customer records, financial transactions, employee details, supply chain information. So if this data falls into the wrong hands, it can lead to, financial fraud, data breaches, regulatory fines, even business disruption, right? So it's pretty critical, right? So a strong ERP security strategy isn't just about protecting that said data. It's about maintaining, that operational integrity, ensuring business continuity, and building trust with the customers, employees, and,
Right,
and
right,
partners. So it's critical stuff, right?
right. Shannon, let's start with point number one: access management and user role. One of the most simplest, yet most effective way to secure an ERP system in role-based access control.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. So not everyone in an organization needs access to all the ERP data, right? So for example, someone in procurement does need access to payroll data, right? So defining those roles and permissions, that ensures employees can only access the information necessary for their jobs. It's important to regular review who has those access rights, what data they have access to, and prevent any of that unauthorized access. Especially when employees change roles or leave the company. Yeah.
Right, right. Absolutely, I agree. So next point, Shannon, is multi-factor authentication. Password today we know, passwords alone are no longer enough. We need to add an extra layer of security.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. So multi-factor authentication, you know, it does add that extra layer by requiring multiple forms of authentication, right? So it's pretty important stuff like something
Hmm.
you know, password, something you have, a mobile authentication app or OTP or something you are. So biometric authentication like fingerprints or facial recognition. So this makes it significantly harder for attackers to gain access, even if they steal a password.
Absolutely, I totally agree. I totally agree. Shannon, let's talk about data encryption. How does data encryption protect the ERP data? If you can share some information on that.
Yeah, think of it this way. I mean, encryption, it just scrambles the data, right, into an unreadable format that not only authorized users can decode, like even if a hacker intercepts encrypted data, I mean, they won't be able to make sense of it. So some of the best practices include, you know, encrypting that data at rest, so which is, stored data, encrypting data in transit, so data being sent over networks, and using secure, using secure backups with encryption to prevent data loss.
Correct. Backups are very important. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Shannon, now let's talk about software updates. Many cyber attacks exploit outdated ERP software, right?
Yeah, that's a huge risk, right? So software vendors frequently release patches to fix those vulnerabilities. So um, if a business delay updates, they leave themselves exposed, right? So
Absolutely.
best
Yeah,
practices, you know, number one, and enable those automatic updates, where possible. And establish a patch management schedule to keep those systems secured.
correct. Correct. So Shannon, ERP security is just about the software. It's also about the network, Shannon. So how can businesses secure their ERP networks?
Yeah, businesses should implement, firewalls, intrusion detection systems, IDS or network segmentation. So key strategies include, separating the ERP systems from other IT infrastructure, uh, using VPNs for remote access, and monitoring those traffic logs for unusual activity. So network segmentation makes it harder for attackers to move through systems if they gain entry.
Right, right. And let's talk about employee training and awareness, Shannon. Security isn't just about technology, it's also about people. So how do employee training fit into the ERP security?
Yeah, human error is the leading cause of cyber incidents, right? So
Yeah,
employees absolutely need to be trained, and ongoing training to recognize those phishing attacks, to use strong passwords and password managers, and follow secure login procedures. So regular security awareness training needs to be incorporated, and what we found that can significantly reduce the risk of breaches. So training is absolutely critical.
absolutely. Right, right, right. Uh, Another question that I wanted to ask you, Shannon, in selecting the right digital transformation or ERP implementation partner, it also plays a crucial role in security. What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Partners are critical, right? So a trusted ERP partner, like our organization, Brightpoint Infotech, we ensure secure deployment, compliance, and that ongoing support. So, looking back, we help businesses follow security best practices, set up strong authentication, and, integrate monitoring tools to protect ERP environments. So that's something that, we highly recommend.
Right. And finally, Shannon, continuous monitoring is essential. Uh, you can't just, set security measures and forget about them, right?
Of course, right? That's right. Businesses should use security information, and event management tools, set up, real-time alerts for that suspicious activity. Do things like, conduct regular security audits. By activity monitoring logs and access records, and companies can detect, and respond to threats before they cause the damage that we've been talking about.
Right. Right. So, Shannon, I think we have covered some really important points today when it comes to ERP
Yeah.
security. Any final thoughts on, why businesses should prioritize ERP security?
Yeah, it's just not a technical issue, right? It's a business critical priority. So a
Absolutely.
secure a secure ERP system, ensures data integrity, operational efficiency, and the regulatory compliance. So implementing these best practices are not only going to reduce the risks, but they're also going to protect your business from, reputation, and and customer trust. So it's a business critical priority.
I absolutely agree, Shannon. And that's a wrap for today's episode. And To our listeners, if you're looking for expert guidance on ERP security, implementation, or upgrades, we can help you. So you can visit our website, brightpointinfotech.com, to understand more. And Shannon, once again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Always great to be speaking with you. Thanks again. Talk to you soon.
Yeah. And thank you to our listeners. Stay secure, stay proactive, and we'll catch you in our next episode. Thank you once again.